Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the weekly comic book roundup. We've covered this week's X-Men books as well as a few non-Marvel books. Now it's time to move on to this week's Spider-Man books as well as a couple others. Kicking things off, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 6, or by legacy numbering, number 900. So so the primary story doesn't actually continue. Not going to bother with where we left off because this is more of a standalone story. It doesn't really mesh with the rest of what's been going on in Zeb Wells' run. But we open with something being dug out of a landfill about a year ago. The remains of the living brain. In charge of the project is apparently an avatar of the living brain. So, now, Peter's summoned for a surprise party. He's actually on time for once, which ruins the surprise. While talking with various attendees, including Nora, Flash Thompson, Mockingbird, Aunt May, Black Cat, a pair of octopus arms, and then two more ripped to the walls, attached to a rather freaking out J. Jonah Jameson. But both Black Cat and Mockingbird attack Jameson. Peter goes to save him, costuming up along the way, and the arms detach themselves from Jameson and go after Spider-Man. But apparently the living brain the avatar of the living brain has kidnapped Doc Ock. And then proceeds to also kidnap everyone's at the party. The Doc Ock's arms lead Spider-Man to to where the living brain is. And he's attacked by what appears to be a super adaptoid with the powers and personalities of the Sinister Six. Meanwhile, the avatar of the living brain is asking, who is Spider-Man? Not under the mask, just who he is as a person. It's kind of explained that that's what he's meaning. We got the origin of the living brain. But Spidey goes after him. Once again, has to face the sinister adaptoid. But and he finds, and perhaps, and Doc Ock says maybe he can help. Turns out, though, he's not the only prisoner. Electro, the Vulture, Kraven the Hunter, Mysterio, and Sandman. And so Peter frees them all, and the 7 of them go after the adaptoid. What defeats the adaptoid is their conflicting personalities. And they argue over. Of course, the 6 argue over which of them opted to. Well, which personalities caused the defeat of the Adaptoid. They find the living brain. Peter won't let the Six destroy it. When, however, he gets quite the beating, and Doc Ock's about to kill him with his arms, but the arms seem to have taken a liking to Peter. And so, but the living brain's avatar teleports the Six, just sends the Six elsewhere, and but the avatar wishes him a happy birthday, and Peter and Black Cat meet up afterwards once the day is saved. But he explains that that there's a computer brain in there, there's a secret identity, he's got to get it somewhere safe, probably with the FF, but they're not really on speaking terms. And Black Cat gives him a birthday kiss. Then let's see, we've got some backup stories. We got Better Late Than Never, which is a neat little story, kind of focusing on it's really just to talk about the fact of New York Public Library waiving all late fines. So apparently Peter's got quite a stack. So the librarian goes through them all. And we've got little bits for each one. Hitchhiker's got the Galaxy. Highly Practical. Power Broker. Makes Wilson Fisk look like Bill de Blasio. Farewell to Arms. Holds personal meeting. Herpetology for the aggressive reptile owner. Smells like a sewer, apparently. Apparently it was a bathroom read. Hollywood Magics. Secrets Beyond Special Effects. It was a lifesaver at Movie Trivia. Saw the burnt copy of the Do-It-Yourself Electrician's Guide to Installation. Electrifying read and shockingly helpful. The Very Grumpy Octopus, which was for Peter's nephew. His nephew. Or his nephew, his nemesis. Complete works of Ayn Rand because, well, we all have embarrassing phases in college. Fair. Vampires, Myth and Reality. Reviews were mixed. Beginner's Beekeeping, turns out he needed advanced. A well-loved copy of 50 Shades of Grey, which Peter blames on May. So he said she was borrowing his card for cookbooks. Dr. Faustus explains that Peter says it's strange, he has no memory of checking that one out, but it's not due until tomorrow. Black Cat's own superstitions, didn't change his luck. However, the total comes to $452.86. But Peter thought the fines were being waived, but that's explained that's for late fines. A lot of the books are damaged or weirdly sticky. But so to work off his debt to the library, he's doing Spider-Man. He has Spider-Man story time. And, well, apparently the librarian has taken a bit of a liking and asked that he text for some time. To be fair, I wouldn't mind seeing that kind of continue. Then we've got another story featuring Spider-Man in LA fighting Mysterio. Apparently Mysterio is trying to get a record deal. He's made an album. While there, Spider-Man runs into Jimmy Kimmel, and they kind of sort of team up. And then afterwards, Spider-Man is a guest on Kimmel, And musical guest that night is, in fact, Mysterio. Apparently, the album is actually pretty good. Finally, we have Save the Date. Set during Pierce's high school days, there's a school dance, Spring Fling. Betty Brant agrees to go with him. But he gets hung up fighting Green Goblin. And basically stands her up. Goes home to Aunt May, faces some ribbing from some of his classmates that drive by, but May tells not to let them get to him. And that is where the issue ends. Overall, a fun. This is actually, I think, the first centennial issue I've read of Amazing Spider-Man. I got out of comics in the 90s just before number 400 dropped. I wasn't really reading comics regularly when 500 dropped. I think it was 6, 7, and 800. I was I had weaned myself off of Spidey at the very least. So. But yeah, fun stuff. I do have to wonder if what issue 1000 is going to be like in 4 or 5 years or so. Yeah, I crunched the numbers actually. But also, I have to wonder what Dan Slott has planned for his Amazing Spider-Man 1000 story. Well, he's done stories in the last 3 in 6 and 700, 800, and 900. So I think it was possible 600. I can't. He bragged about it on Twitter. Yeah. Overall, fun. I like the idea of the Sinister Adaptoid. And moving on to briefly segue to another topic covered on this channel, I would actually really like seeing that in HeroClix. That I think would be really neat. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Iron Cat number 2. Where we left off, the Iron Cat armor had been stolen from Tony Stark by apparently another former protege of Black Fox, who was not happy that with what Felicia did to Black Fox, even though it was for the purpose of saving Manhattan. But upon explaining the situation to Tony Stark, Tony's agreed to help her. Apparently, he has a holding facility for tech assets he couldn't just sell. Iron Man armors, mainly. But and it's explained that Felicia explained that she was able to hack into Stark's systems with a Banetronic intrusion suite. But the AI that was Sunset Bane is locked away in an AI prison. And Tamara, Black Cat's newest nemesis, breaks into said prison and copies Sunset Menace's AI to use as a basically as an operating system for the Iron Cat armor. We get some additional flashbacks to Tamara and Felicia's training. Apparently, she didn't like Felicia largely because apparently they had very different approaches to being thieves. For Tamara, it was all about the money, craft and you know, timing and all. For Felicia, it was about fun, but it also shows that they had a brief relationship with one another. But at first, Madam Menace is not entirely digging the idea of being copied and uses as a co-pilot operating system for armor. But Tamara explains that if a version of Madam Menace is out there free, then the original's chances of getting out got a lot better. The deal is done, and Madam Menace is the operating system on the Iron Cat, and so it's decided that Tony and Felicia need to be publicly seen. A big to-do on a yacht, and the issue ends with the Iron Cat flying in. Apparently, her and Madam Menace have set a trap, while obviously Tony and Felicia being at the yacht are also a trap. So yeah, it's fun. I'm digging Iron Cat. It's it's nice seeing another Jed MacKay written Black Cat book after all. So moving on to our next book, we got Venom number 9. Where we left off, Eddie Brock had managed to traverse through time enough to and ended up face to face with Kang the Conqueror in the future. A point where apparently Eddie and Kang had a friend. Venom and Kang had quite the friendship actually. Of course, it's all about. Of course, Kang is Kang and is actually working with Meridius. So. Kang explains a few things about time travel to Venom, and tests Venom's abilities, and Venom begins his travel through the time stream, and Kang is promptly visited by Meridius, with Kang saying, "Yeah, he just set him on his way." But I'm not, but that's all I'm gonna do. Raindrops and thunder. But Eddie emails his old contact, then travels further through, linking up with for that brief appearance he had a few issues back when Dylan was being experimented on by the Life Foundation. Then a little further back, where he leaves the voicemail from Dylan from the first issue. Then he ends up in some strange realm, a red realm apparently. Apparently, it turns out that Bedlam is seemingly being controlled by a younger Eddie Brock, with all of Brock's rage, which he's using to kill Dylan. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting stuff. I'm really digging the current Venom run. I swear, every question gets answered. a handful more pop up, and I love it. Moving on to our next book, we've got Strange number 4. Where we left off, Wong and Clea were preparing for the arrival of a dinner guest. Clea's mother, Umar. But also having to deal with, you know, the group of thieves that Clea's been dealing with. Umar shows up, says some not entirely nice things about the sanctum. Clea suggests that Wong take bats for a walk. What were they? What, their name pops up. The Blasphemy Cartel. They assault the sanctum. Umar states that she's proud of Clea. Apparently, she thinks that Clea is basically running a scam to take over the Earth. But Clea says, no, that's that's not what's going on. An RPG housing a demon is launched at the sanctum. Umar deals with the Blasphemy Cartel, while Clea deals with Shadow Knight, an old Moon Knight enemy that has been resurrected by the cartel as a gestalt of ghosts. But let's explain the Shadow. This one's different from the Thunderstrike one. Thunderstrike had been a hero, so a little bit of that hero soul is still there. But with Shadow Knight's always been a villain, so a bred in the bone killer. But Shadow Knight is taken down, and Umar is slicing and dicing her way through the cartel. And to defeat Shadow Knight, though, Clea had to make a new spell on the fly when the Harvestman shows up. And that is where the issue ends. So getting very interesting. We've already had Clea go after one possible means of resurrection for Doctor Strange. Krakoan resurrection, but she was turned down. So apparently the Harvestman, who's been behind some of her recent troubles, is looking to be another possible avenue for that. Moving on to our last week's moment, we've got the Hidden Planeswalker, number 4. Where we left off, Liliana had realized that Asona had taken up with Tezzeret and was trying to find Tezzeret, make sure that they had already freed Merit-Lage. She finds them on on Amonkhet. We get a flashback to Tezzeret making his offer to Asona. But Liliana shows up to basically say, no, it's not a flashback, my bad. But Liliana shows up to say it's a bad idea. The two of them duke it out, and Liliana tries to make her see the truth. But she continues to planeswalk. Liliana planeswalks to avoid Asona, first hitting Kamigawa, then Ikoria, then Ixalan, then New Capenna. But it wasn't random planeswalking. It was made to look that way, as she ends up somewhere where Liliana's necromantic abilities are quite useful. Where, you might ask? Innistrad. And she summons a horde of dead Doomweaver spiders to web up Asona and guard her, basically, saying if anyone other than her comes for Asona, kill them. But Liliana leaves Asona with some parting words, stating that she has no interest in killing Asona. If Asona comes for her senses and leaves, Liliana won't pursue. But if Asona comes for her or hers, or for Merit Lage, Liliana will put Asona in the ground in a much more permanent manner. But she returns to Strixhaven, explains that she stopped Asona and how. But she talks a bit with one of the deans. I think it's the Witherbloom Dean. And the issue ends with Liliana returning to being a teacher at Strixhaven. But there is an epilogue. Tezzeret is still looking for her. Currently looking on Dominaria, though using basically drones. And realizing that Asona's still alive somewhere. That is where that's where the miniseries concludes. I enjoyed this miniseries. It was a nice little side story from the current arc of from either of the current arcs. They're still relating to the first arc from the Magic the Gathering book. I think I probably would have preferred if McKay had been writing it as well as, but I would probably like it a little bit better. But I not to say I disliked it because I did enjoy the miniseries. So. But anyway, that is going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.